Good afternoon, or actually evening. I'm
Hey,
Mike
everybody.
Jones. I'm Mike Jones. This is Cindy Jones. We are Jacksonville's voice of real estate. We're coming at you live. Of course, you probably already guessed that already. Today, we're talking about selling your house, and one of the things that we find when we go on listing appointments to meet with the seller and see their house for the first time, that creates a problem and right off the bat. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. Stay tuned. Okay, so one of the common things that we see when we get invited to someone's house to give them a listing presentation, which also includes touring the home for the first time, giving them a value or market analysis, one of the problems that we find is that sellers oftentimes aren't ready for that real estate agent or us to come and see the house. One of the mistakes that they make is assuming that the real estate agent can overlook all of the shortcomings, all the dirt, all the filth, all the clutter, all the repairs, and all that. And while that's true, realtors can see past all that. This is your first or your best chance to make a very good first impression, and first impressions are everything. One of the things that you need to concentrate on, you need to be aware of, is when you invite realtors over, and you should be interviewing. If you're going to list your house for sale with a realtor, you should be interviewing at least 2 or 3. But before you invite them over to your house, you should have your house as close as you can get it in the condition as if there was a buyer coming to see your house. And I know that a lot of times sellers rely on agents to give them advice on how to or on what to do to get their house ready to sell, but you really have a basic idea, especially if you followed us on our YouTube channel and on Facebook and Instagram. You have an idea that you at least need to have the house clean. You know that you need to get all the trash, or not the trash, get all the clutter out.
Yeah,
You need to
sure.
prepare that house just like if you were going to sell your car. Most people will get their car and at least take it to the car wash, vacuum
Yeah.
it out. They'll remove all their personal items. Even if they're driving that car every day, they'll get rid of all the CDs and all the McDonald's wrappers and all that stuff. They'll get all that out of there and prepare it to look its best before a buyer sees it. And it's the same thing you should do with your real estate agent. We're going to tell you a couple of stories of some recent experiences that we had, and we have them all the time, but there's a couple that really come to mind. But we want you to know that when your real estate agent comes over there, they need to see your house as the buyer, the potential buyers coming through there need to see it. And here's why. First off, they're going to try and help you determine a list price for that house. And that's all based around what that house is going to look like when it's being shown. So let's just get to it. Let's go ahead and tell a story about, and listen, we're not trying to beat up on anybody. We're doing this really to help you. We don't care if you hire us as your real estate agent to list and sell your house. We don't care if you list with whoever. This is for your own benefit. Before you have that agent come over there, do your best to get your house show ready.
Mm-hmm.
There was one house that was on about 6 acres. It was a custom built house, but people lived in it for quite a long time, but they had it built specifically for their needs. Very nice house, but it was definitely lived in.
Yeah.
Now, the first thing we did was we went over there and they wanted to know what they could expect to sell it for. We go there and the house is in really bad. It was in poor condition as
Yeah.
far as repairs, and it was also very dirty. It needed a lot of work, and that was tough for us. So we had a conversation as we toured the home, and one of the things the lady said, which was probably the last thing on our minds, was she was going to buy some new shower curtains.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. That would not help that house one bit.
No, well, just some of the things that were wrong with it was there was a very nice screen enclosure around the pool, but some of the screens were busted out.
A lot of them were all just torn and not even just missing completely. They were torn and hanging.
So, things that obviously needed to be repaired should have already been they should have already taken them,
Taken care of them.
fixed those items. So just things that we could see right off the bat, we're thinking they should have already had this done.
Well, wait, what was some other things? Some other things was the pool was, they obviously didn't swim in the pool anymore. It was half empty.
Yeah.
And it wasn't as dirty as I've seen some pools, but it was green water. It wasn't blue. It wasn't sparkling clean. They had a whole bunch of junk on their back porch, which overlooked the pool.
Oh, yeah.
What else? We went through the master bedroom, and I tell you, Cindy and I just about had to leave. It's reeked of urine. And I'm not just talking about fresh urine. I'm talking about urine that's been there for a long time. It was obviously soaked into the walls. What else was wrong with that house? The dining room table, and I know this isn't really the house, it's a piece of furniture, but I'm just trying to put a picture in your mind. The dining room table, because they apparently had grandkids and kids over all the time, was sticky. There was not a clean spot on that entire table, and literally, when we left, I had to go wash my hands. Then another thing was, there was a big pile of trash right in the middle of the garage floor. Yeah. It included carpet remnants where they had torn it out and things like that. Now, I understand that they weren't ready to list, and we knew that when we went there. And they wanted us to give them an idea of what the value was based on fixing and taking care of everything that we just explained to you.
Yeah, basically they said that they would fix these certain things, so we had to try to calculate what would it be worth after they did all these things.
Well, and of course,
that's hard to come up. That's hard to do.
Of course, making those things right or doing those things don't really increase market value. You start out at market value.
Yeah.
And that's top of the line, good condition, and everything's ready to go. Yeah. And then as things are not taken care of, that price point or that listing price range goes down. So they wanted a value, and based on our conversation, of course, it was a mistake that I made. I gave them what I thought it would sell for based on our conversation and what they were prepared to take care of. Well, they said, okay, well, we're going to take care of all these things, and we should be ready in about 4 weeks. Well, it was about 8 weeks later. We kept in communication with these people because they were going to list with us. We were going to list the house, and we gave them a price before we left of what we thought it would sell for. And then finally, every week we talked to her, well, I got delayed this week. We still got this to do, Finally, you could tell she was just getting tired of the whole thing.
We were ready for pictures.
And we don't like to list a house till we're ready for pictures. And we said, we don't want to come back to list this house until it's ready for pictures. That's just the basic starting point. So she finally calls and says, I'm ready. It's good. We go over there.
For pictures. Bring our camera out and ready to go. And what happened?
I don't think they did anything other than clean the pool
and
fill it with water.
I don't know what they did for 8 weeks.
The pool was clean and it was sparkling, that's for sure. But they still had the dangling screens, and they still had the urine smell in the bathroom, and they still had this and that. And this was an older couple, so we just said, you know what? Then they said, well, go ahead and list. I said, well, I'll do the best we can with the photos. We can probably, take pictures here and move a few things. But it was under the understanding they were still going to take care of those things. And listen, the same pile of garbage was still in the garage. Only thing is, it had grown bigger.
When we showed up for the photos that day, she left the mop bucket with the mop in the middle of the kitchen floor. The dish drainer was still on the counter. Things that you would just normally put away. So this was not picture ready.
And see, here's where the problem comes in. You ask an agent to give you their opinion of value based on the things that you do, and in their mind, their expectation is this is going to be really nice, show ready. It's going to be something marketable.
Yes.
But then what happens is the expectation in the seller's mind is not the same as yours, but they still, even though they haven't done those repairs that it was agreed on, they still hold you to that price. They want you to hold that price, but they don't want to do the things that you suggested and that they knew that they need to do. So that started off as a problem.
When we showed up the day to take the photos, we went through the garage, and she says, oh, you're just going to have to tell the buyers to overlook the trash in the garage and overlook the pile of trash in the yard and overlook this and overlook that. I'm thinking, y'all, buyers don't overlook anything.
Well, unless
They
they're
don't overlook things.
unless they're buying it as an investment, they're going to flip it, and they're
No.
getting it at a huge steep discount. That's the
Yeah,
only time
yeah.
they'll overlook it.
They don't overlook it. It's going to cost you in the long run. So this is why we want to tell you these things that happen to us and with other folks, so that you can get it right the first time.
We ended up parting ways on that house. We tried. We listed it for a little while and tried, but they never did do the things that they said that they were going to do. So we ended up parting ways. And I think we had told them the price was about between $480,000 and $490,000, and they ended up listing with another agent. That thing sold for about $300,000 or $325,000 about a year later. So it took them a very long time, and it sold for way less than what it would have sold for if they would have just done the things that they said they were going to do. And these are just things that anybody would expect to do.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, most of those things, in the end, the buyers who bought that house ended up asking them to either give them a concession for those items or to repair those items.
I remember they ended up giving an entire kitchen renovation cost.
Yeah,
Like I think they
that's right.
offered like I can't remember, $15,000 or $20,000 kitchen upgrade price to overcome the kitchen that needed renovation, because it had pink countertops and things like that. So it was, y'all, if you've got to condition the house to price or prices to condition, and that house was definitely way under conditioned based on, they said that they were going to condition it at a certain level, which didn't happen.
Now, like I said, I know that a lot of sellers want their advice, want to get advice from their agents that they're thinking about hiring. They want to know what their thoughts are about what they should do to make the house more presentable. And I get it, that we're welcome to do that. But like I said, these basic things need to be covered. You need to the agent's going to tell you to mow your lawn, do something with the landscaping. They're going to tell you to paint where it needs to be. You know these things. You can go online and get a basic understanding of what you need to do.
Yeah.
And then the agent's role is to just kind of piggyback on that, to give you some more advice and tips of what to do. So take that into account. And another thing is, we went on one in early May of this year, and just a small house, little old house that was, it could be a really nice house, but the girl was expecting to get about $20,000 over what the market value was. And as soon as we pulled up to the street, the lawn was overgrown. We walk up to the steps, and it's an older house. It had some brick steps. There was mold and fungus growing on the steps. The outside, the whole exterior had chipping and peeling paint. And she had wood rot on the eaves that was so bad that the floodlight was dangling because the wood wasn't even strong enough to support it. You couldn't even put a screw in it.
There was previous wood rot that had been fixed. That was hanging out.
Exactly.
The eaves.
So that was just the outside. When we went inside, this is May, mind you, I could have sworn that her Halloween decorations were still up. There was a full-size pine box coffin leaned up in the corner in the family room.
It's not funny, y'all.
There was a bunch of vampire paraphernalia all over the house. There was little orange, you know how you have Christmas lights, but these were like a Halloween theme hanging all over the place. And she wanted us to give her, she was hoping we would agree with her price to begin with, of a market value of $20,000 over market value. But I figured it would come in at, I was trying to price it in my head about $20,000 less than what market value was based on its condition there.
Or even less than that.
But it's really funny, and I'm not trying to beat up on the way people live or what they do. I don't know, the girl thought she was a vampire. I don't care if you think you're a vampire. I don't think if you're a kitty cat. I don't care.
How you live. It's
how you live.
different.
But when you sell your house, you got to get all your personal things, decorations out.
It is now a business.
We hit on these things on almost every live stream, you guys. Your house is like any other thing that's on the market for sale. It's a product now. You live in your house one way, you sell it another. But back to the point, when you have a real estate agent coming over to look at your house, to talk about
Price,
listing it, talk
yeah.
about marketing, talk about the market value of it, you need to have it shining bright as you can possibly do it. There's just no way around it. And another thing is, if you're hiring a good agent that is excited about marketing real estate like we are, the last thing you want to do is have that agent come in there and demotivate about the prospect of marketing your house,
Right.
because most agents don't dip in their own pockets to market homes like we do. There are very few agents that actually will spend their own money marketing properties. And the last thing you want somebody like us to do is to come in there and go, man, I'm just not excited about marketing this house. And it's not because of the price point.
Right.
It's not because it's an old house. It's not because it's a built out of straw. It doesn't matter. If it's nice and clean. I mean, I'll sell tiny houses. Matter of fact, there's a guy up in Fernandina right now that's got a tiny house for sale. I would love to market that thing. And it doesn't have to be, it just has to be something that's excitable for that agent. You want that agent to feel excited. And then what happens is when that agent's excited about the marketing, guess what? It kind of spreads to all the other buyer's agents out there that might be interested in coming to see your house. It's just one of those things that you definitely want to help inflate, not deflate. And you do it when you have an agent over prior to it being ready to show.
We talk about this all the time, y'all. It's the same thing for us as when a buyer comes through. A buyer buys on emotion nowadays. Not too long ago, or a few years ago, they bought on being the fact that it would rise in $50,000 in 6 months. That was the only reason they bought. But they buy on emotion. So when they come to see your house, the first thing that catches their eye is the pictures online. When they get to your house, remember, their excitement level is up to here. If they get there and the excitement level drops, there goes your price, y'all.
Or your buyer, even worse.
You know what? Some of them get to the front door and they don't even go in. Okay, so you've got to have the realtors excited about your house. You've got to have the buyers excited about your house, and when they get there, it's still got to be clean, fresh, ready to go. So you've got to keep that emotion.
Talk about clean. I was showing a house in the $650,000 range the other day. Very nice house, and keep in mind, in our area, in Duval County, Jacksonville, the median price range fluctuates from month to month between about $196,000 to $215,000. So $650,000 house should be pretty darn nice. Now, this house was empty, and I'm kind of thinking after we saw the house, probably a good thing, because here's how far a professional cleaning can go. Keep in mind, this turned off my buyers almost instantly. Look at this light switch. That's the light switch going into, I think, the dining room from the kitchen. Okay?
There's no reason for that.
Here's another one on another room right outside the kitchen.
That's peanut butter and jelly.
Yep. Talk about sticky and nasty and having to wash your hands.
I mean, if it goes over on the walls and all the way around, come on.
And here's the actual lights for the kitchen. This is unacceptable.
You know what this shows? Let me tell you what this shows. This,
Wait, I'm not done.
Oh, wait, there's more.
Baseboards through the entire house. This is so easy to fix. You lay down some of that blue tape and you get some baseboard paint and paint it. Yep. It's $25, $30 for a bucket of paint. This could have been done in a Sunday afternoon, and it would do so much for this house. And then have them, I mean, come on, just look. This is the walls, and you can see around this is $650,000 house, and this was outside the same house. I'm not sure what this is. A dog run, a dog kennel, I don't know, but they could have done something to make this look a little bit better.
Something.
My buyers were so disappointed in this house because, of course, these pictures don't show up on the online advertising.
Right. They don't look like that. Yeah, so, here's the thing, y'all. Dirty anything in the house makes the buyers wonder, if you can't clean a simple surface, what else haven't you maintained? It's a sponge and some water.
I know things like that seem very trivial.
Yeah.
even to a real estate agent. I mean, that's an easy fix.
Yeah, but it's
once
huge.
once you mess with that buyer's emotions,
Yeah.
they feel nasty. That's what they felt. They felt nasty being in that house.
Yeah.
And it was a nice house otherwise. But this made them feel nasty. There wasn't even
Yeah.
any sense in looking at it anymore. We were gone. Pretty
Yeah.
much it. They lost. That was that first impression. It wasn't the first
See?
impression, but
That's the thing.
it was the first, 10 minutes in the door.
Yeah.
This is what they saw. They didn't even look at the whole house.
Yeah.
Let's get out of here. So I'm going to tell you one more story
All right.
about a house. Cindy wasn't on me on this one. I went to this guy's house. Who
I wasn't with you. Yeah.
Yeah, he was living as a bachelor, had been for about a year. I guess him and his wife split up. Big old house. He didn't need it anymore. He needed to sell it, but he had a couple of bachelor roommates, and that's cool. I get it. I was a bachelor one time too. But apparently they had one too many parties, got a little too drunk, and they decided to write on the kitchen walls with a marker. And they had actually they did try to clean it up before I got there because they had put one coat of paint over it, but it still blended right through. I could see it plain as day. And this wasn't like decoration type writing on it. This was just writing on the wall in a big old magic marker or something. On top of that, in the dining room, they had a fish tank that had a snake in it that was hanging from chains in the middle of the dining room.
That's what I would have been gone.
No dining room table, nothing, just hang. It wasn't even straight. It had holes in the wall where they had punched holes in the walls. Just had a good time punching holes in the walls. This is how he had me come over to try and price his home, give him a value, talk about marketing, talking about what we're going to do to help him sell his house. This is what I'm talking about. You know that you can't sell that house for that unless you discount it deeply and you're going to sell it as is to an investor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
So I think the bottom line is, y'all, if you're going to have an agent, if you want to sell your house, you're thinking of selling your house, if you go through your house and if there's anything out of place or out of the ordinary where you would think that you would have to say with somebody coming over, oh, excuse this mess, or tell the buyers to overlook this, then you are not ready for even the agent to come over because of the reasons that we told you.
Yep.
We're helping you price the house as it looks, and you're telling us they're going to do this, this, and this. We don't know if you're going to do that.
Well,
Even
most
if
of
you
the
say
time,
you are,
every time
you know?
that's
Yep.
almost
That's
every
right.
time
Yep.
I've ever heard a seller say they're going to fix this, this, and this, it never happens.
Yeah.
100%. They
They-
might do half of it.
Yeah.
But what happens is life gets in the way. They still
Yep.
got to go to work. They still got to deal with the kids. They
Kids.
still got to go to soccer games, baseball games, church, whatever it is that they have to do.
But-
And those things get put off the back burner. Finally, they're just like, I just want to sell my house. Just maybe they'll overlook it. And
Yeah, and they don't.
yeah, so
And then we're stuck with trying to, and now you definitely want that price, and then if it doesn't happen, you
can't
blame
do it.
us, and so you see what the how the debacle is created.
So hey, do me a favor if you like this video. Do me a favor, click on the like button. If you have comments or you have any other stories or any stories that you'd like to share with us, drop them in the comments section below. We love to read comments and we do our best to respond to every single one of them. As a matter of fact, if Cindy catches me where I haven't responded to a comment, she definitely lets me know about it. So do me a favor, click that like button, comment, subscribe, click that little bell for notifications so you don't miss anything. And by the way, if you need help buying or selling a house or real estate, vacant land, whatever it is, give us a call. We're right here in Northeast Florida. We handle all the counties around us, and we can help you there. We can also, if you're anywhere in the country, Cindy and I have been in the business a very long time, and we've developed relationships with real estate agents across the country. And if you're buying or selling in anywhere, we can help you find a real estate agent that will help you and suit your needs and not ours or theirs. Again, my name is Mike Jones. This is Cindy Jones. If you want to search for homes right now available, go to mikeandcindyjones.com, and we'll see you next week right here and live. Thank you for watching.
Bye.